I still say good morning when I wake up. I just don't know who I am saying it to anymore. Love does not stop when someone dies. It changes shape, quieter, softer, but still there, still working, still finding you, still learning new ways to reach you in the most ordinary moments of your life. For a long time, I thought healing meant letting go of Tam completely. I thought moving forward meant packing away the memories, closing the door gently behind me, and learning to leave as though that love belonged to another version of my life. I thought that if I still talk about him, still felt him near me, still reach for him in small quiet moments, it meant I was not healing, that I was stuck, that I was somehow doing grief wrong. But I have learned something different since then, something more honest and more tender than any timeline anyone ever handed me. You do not stop being someone's person just because they are gone. You just learn to carry them differently. And love that was real enough to change the shape of your entire life, it does not need permission to stay. There are moments I still feel my husband with me. In music he used to love, a song that comes on unexpectedly and suddenly the room feels different, fuller somehow, less quiet than it should be for one person. In the scent of his cologne, I will be in a room alone and something drifts through the air that has no business being there. No logical explanation, just his scent, specific and unmistakable. And for a moment, I go completely still because it feels less like a memory and more like a presence. In the quiet hum of peace that sometimes fills the space when I think of him. Not grief, not ache, just peace. The kind that does not make sense given everything that has happened. The kind that feels like it comes from somewhere outside of me. People sometimes ask how I know he's still with me. And honestly, I do not have an answer that fits neatly into words. It is not something I can explain. It is something I simply know. Like a warmth that wraps around you when you need it most. Like a whisper that says, I am still here. I used to close my eyes at night and pray, God, please tell him I love him. I said it for months, every single night. And then one day, I stopped. Not because I stopped loving him, but because I realized something that settles deep in my chest, like certainty. he already knows. Hmm. Before we go further, I want to pause here for just a moment. If this conversation is meeting you in a place you did not expect to be met today, I want you to know that this is only one part of what I have built for people walking this road. My memoir, When Goodbye Comes Too Early, goes even deeper into this journey through love, loss, and the slow return of hope. You can find it on Amazon. The link is always in the description below. New episodes of this podcast release every week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. If you are not subscribed yet, please hit that follow button right now so this conversation keep finding you. And if you are watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel and turn on notification so you never miss a new episode. Now let me share something that changed the way I understood my own grief completely. For a long time, the traditional model of grief told people that healing meant detaching, that the goal was to eventually loosen your connection to the person who died and redirect that energy into building a new life. Let go, move on, start over. That model caused a lot of unnecessary pain because it told grieving people that what they were feeling naturally, this ongoing sense of connection, this desire to keep talking to someone they loved, was something to be corrected rather than honored. But grief researchers and counselors have moved significantly away from that model. There is now a well recognized understanding in the field called continuing bonds theories. And what it says is this: maintaining a loving connection with someone who has died is not a sign of being stuck. It is not a sign of denial or unresolved grief. For most people, it is one of the healthiest things they can do. Continuing bonds mean you keep talking to them. You keep a piece of their clothing in your drawer. You still order their favorite food sometimes because it makes you feel close to them. You include them in family milestones. You say their name out loud in a room full of people who knew them. You keep a grocery receipts in a small box on your dresser because his handwriting is on it and that handwriting is irreplaceable. That is not weakness. That is love that knows how to survive. Grief does not require you to sever a bond that was real. It asks you to transform it, to find new way of carrying the person you love into the life you are still living without them physically beside you. This is what I am doing every time I said my husband's name, every time I share his story, every time I sit down to record this podcast. I am not stuck. I am carrying him forward. And that is exactly what love is supposed to do. Grief can make you feel like you are torn between two worlds: the one you live in now and the one where they still exist in your memory, your prayers, your quiet moments. For a while, those two worlds felt very far apart, like standing on one shore and looking across water at something you could see but not reach. But in time, something shifted. Those two worlds started to blend, not painlessly, not all at once, but gradually, the way light changes in a room as the day moves through it. And instead of pain being the dominant feeling when I thought of Tim, gratitude started to take up more of the space. Gratitude for the years we shared, for the love we built that was steady and quiet and real, for the way his spirit still lingers, not haunting, not heavy, just holding. The way a hand holds another hand without gripping, without desperation, just presence, just warmth, just love that has found a new way to be with you. If you are grieving a spouse right now and you still feel them near you in a way you cannot fully explain, I want you to hear this. You are not imagining it. You are not stuck. You are not failing at healing. You are experiencing the ongoing presence of a love that was real, enough to leave a permanent mark on your life. And that love is still working, even now, even here. I want to talk about signs for a moment because I know this is something many grieving people experience and very few feel safe talking about out loud. The song that comes on at exactly the right moment. The bird that lands somewhere that has no reason to be. The dream that felt less like a dream and more like a visit. The scent in an empty room, the number that keeps appearing on days that matter. People who have not lost someone deeply tend to explain these things away. Coincidence, pattern recognition, the mind looking for comfort. And maybe sometimes that is true. But I have also sat in rooms where something was present that had no logical explanation. And I have learned to stop needing one. Faith does not always ask for evidence. Sometimes faith is simply the willingness to receive comfort without demanding that it arrive in a form you can prove. When I feel my husband near me, I do not interrogate it. I do not talk myself out of it. I just receive it. I say thank you and I let it be enough. Because grief is heavy enough without adding the burden of having to justify the moment when it lifts. I am still his in spirit, not because I cannot move forward, not because I am holding on to something that has ended, but because love like ours does not end. It transforms. It finds new shapes, new languages, new ways of being present in a life that has been completely changed by its absence. I carried him in the way I tell his story, in the way I advocate for people who feel unseen in hospital hallways, in the way I answer this podcast with honesty, even on the days when honesty costs something, in the way I still make my coffee in the morning and think of the hands that used to make it for me. He is not my past. He is woven into everything I am still becoming. And that is not grief holding me back. That is love holding me up. If you are listening tonight and missing someone, I want to offer you something simple. Close your eyes. Let the noise of the day go quiet just for a moment. And let love speak in its own way. You might not hear words, you might not see anything, but somewhere in the stillness, there is a calmness waiting for you. A memory that warms instead of stings. A smile that rises from somewhere you did not expect. That is them. That is love still working, still present, still fighting you in the quiet. You are not alone in missing them. You are not alone in feeling them near. And you are not alone in the beautiful, complicated work of learning how to carry someone you love into a life they are no longer physically walking beside you. That work is sacred and you are doing it. Every single day you get up and keep going, you are doing it. Heavenly Father, thank you for the kind of love that never truly ends. For the peace that reminds us our loved ones are closer than we think. For the signs we almost miss and the ones we cannot explain. For the scents in an empty room and the song at exactly the right moment. For the warmth that wrapped around us when we need it most. Thank you for teaching us that healing does not mean forgetting. That carrying someone forward is not the same as being stuck. That love, when it is real, finds way to remain. And thank you for Tim, for the quiet steadiness of who he was, for the coffee he made me every morning, for the love he carried so naturally, that is still here, still working, still finding me in the smallest and most unexpected places. The soul does not say goodbye, it just learns a new language of love. Next time, we will talk about when love finds new shapes, how the heart learns to open again, not to replace what was lost, but to honor it by living it fully. If today's episode met you somewhere tender, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. A review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify means more than you know. It helps the show find the people who are quietly searching for it right now. And my book, When Goodbye Comes Too Early, is on Amazon, always in the description below. Until then, this is LTP Hope, reminding you that when goodbye comes too early, love is what helps us begin again. Good night.